Tyler Duffey blows the lead. The Twins lose the series opener to the Royals. Let's break this one down on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. Today is Friday, May 27th, and I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. Today's episode is brought to you by rockauto.com. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. Again, this is Nash Walker. Been writing at Twins Daily for over 2 years, been hosting this podcast for over 2 years. This is season 4 at Twins Daily, season 3 as host of the podcast. And let me tell you, my first full 162 on the podcast was last year in 2021. And you know what I saw a lot of in 2021? This game script. Twins score early. Not a lot of runs, 1 or 2. Twins score early. I'm telling you, this happened a lot in 2021, like too many times to count. Twins score early. Twins fail to build on that lead. Twins blow lead late. That's exactly what's happened the last 2 days. And since Monday, this offense has been asleep at the wheel. Since Max Kepler's grand slam, we have gotten nothing from this offense. You can't score 2 runs against the Kansas City Royals. I know Daniel Lynch was pretty good tonight. And I know yesterday, Ronnie Garcia and the Tigers bullpen was good. If you score 2 runs, you're going to lose more often than you're going to win. And I think what's happening with the Twins right now is they've won a lot of games scoring 2 runs or 1 run or 3 runs. It's coming back to bite them. When you bank those wins, you've banked those wins where you scored 1, 2, or 3 runs. That doesn't mean you can just keep doing it over and over and over again. It means on those days when you're struggling and your offense can only score 1, 2, or 3 runs, you still found a way to win those days. But you have to produce otherwise. You have to wake up as an offense. You can't just keep putting up 2-run games. This is 2 games, but this is a stretch that I think the Twins need to take advantage of. They started 5-0 in this 15-game stretch against the Tigers and Royals, and they are now 5-2. If they come out of it 10-5, that was the goal. However, they were 5-0. So if you come out of it 10-5, that's a disappointment where you were at 5-0. Like at that point, you're looking to come out of it 12-3 or 11-4. That's your new goal, your adjusted goal. And they've lost twice since starting 5-0. And both games they should have and could have won. Tyler Duffey blew it in the 8th tonight. And, you know, I've credited Duffey for getting outs recently and doing his job, which is 7th, 8th inning of tighter ball games, setup man. And Tyler Duffey, I'll continue to say it, was one of the best relievers in baseball in 2019, 2020 combined. One of the best relievers in baseball. His stuff is diminished. His fastball velocity is diminished. He's not the same guy he was in 2019 and 2020, especially the second half of 2019 into the shortened season in 2020. Look at those numbers. He was a top 10 reliever in baseball during that stretch. He's not the same guy. I don't think Tyler Duffey is a terrible reliever. I think Tyler Duffey is someone you need to put into a specific role. He is not an 8th inning guy in a 1 or 2 run game right now. He's not that guy. He hasn't been that guy for over a year. I know he was good after May last year, and they put him into those spots because they didn't have the bullpen really either. I mean, Rogers got hurt in the second half. He's not that guy anymore, especially on a winning team, on a team that has division championship aspirations, playoff aspirations. They are an arm short in the bullpen. If they had Taylor Rogers in this bullpen right now, it would have been Duran in the 8th, Rogers in the 9th, or Rogers in the 8th, Duran in the 9th. And it, coulda, shoulda, woulda with the trade. If they had Taylor Rogers right now, their bullpen would be deeper. Everybody would be moved down a peg. And Jorge Alcala's hurt. We got some news on him today that he's going to throw a live bullpen, I think, tomorrow or the next day, which is great news. So he should be back within the next month, hopefully, from his elbow injury. And I'm obviously very high on Jorge Alcala. Love him. Loved what he did in the second half. Love his stuff. Wasn't good out of the gate this year with his velocity. But if he can get back up to the fastball, 97, 98, that's another weapon with Yohan Duran back there. Not the same type of weapon, but in the same bucket. They don't have another guy like Yohan Duran right now in the back end of that bullpen. And Tyler Duffey's certainly nowhere near the dominance of Yohan Duran. Not only is Duffey not really, getting guys out in those spots, he's not throwing strikes in those spots. He's walking guys. His command's not there. He's not doing it in big time spots. Again, I don't think Tyler Duffey's a bad reliever. I think there's a place for Tyler Duffey in this bullpen. It is not eighth inning setup man in a 1 or a 2 run ball game. It is absolutely not. That's not the role he should be in. And they're missing an arm in the bullpen. Like, they could use a healthy Jorge Alcala. They could use an acquisition in the bullpen. They're needy back there, and it's finally showing up. And if you've been listening the last couple of weeks, I've said that their biggest weakness is the back end of the bullpen. I think on this entire roster, I think it could cost them a lot of games, and you've seen it cost them the last 2 days. And it's not completely on the bullpen. We're going to blame the bullpen. We're going to blame Tyler Duffey. It's also on the offense. They had so many chances to score. They loaded the bases and didn't get a single run in this game. When they were down a run, they needed 1 run to tie, and they couldn't get that run across home plate. I want to talk about Jose Miranda, Royce Lewis, that situation, and then I want to talk as well about Devin Smeltzer, because the Twins just absolutely ruined an amazing Devin Smeltzer start tonight. That's the most frustrating part of all of this, is how good Smeltzer's been, how good he was tonight, and the Twins ruined it anyway. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Rock Auto prices are always reliably low for every single customer. They have everything you could need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Devin Smeltzer was terrific tonight, and I was surprised because the Royals had just seen him in Kansas City. I thought Devin Smeltzer might struggle tonight. I did, in my heart of hearts. He didn't. And Devin Smeltzer has been such a pleasant surprise since he made his major league debut. I think back to 2019 when Smeltzer stepped into a long relief role, specifically a game at Target Field against the Yankees, stepped in and just pitched his butt off. And that's what he's done. He battles. He doesn't have the stuff. His fastball is 89, 90, but he locates. He finds his spots. He mixes the ball up it mixes up his pitches very, very well. He'll start out, a right-hander with a curveball first pitch, and then throws that changeup down and away to get swings and misses, and then will surprise hitters with his fastball up in the zone. His command is outstanding, and Devin Smeltzer's been great. I mean, he's a very, very serviceable major league swingman in a rotation, like a 5 or a 6 if you need a couple spot starts. Devin Smeltzer's a great candidate for that role, maybe even overqualified for that role. I think he'd be like a number 4 or 5 starter in a lot of rotations, but the Twins have a deeper rotation. It's more of a deep rotation than it is close at the top to being to having frontline starters. They have 2 good number 2 starters in my mind in Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan. They lack another frontline starter, but they have depth behind them, and Bailey Ober and Archer, and Bundy's been doing it decently well. And they have, Smeltzer, and they have depth back there. Josh Winder, when he's healthy, they lack the front end, but they've been getting great performances all year long from these starters. Like, just it feels like every time out, they're giving the Twins a great performance. And for the majority of this stretch, they've taken advantage of it. Tonight, they blew Devin Smeltzer's start. Like that was a blown start by the Twins offense. And they, tomorrow I want to see how they respond, because they should feel grossed out about what happened tonight for Devin Smeltzer specifically. Jose Miranda, he's hitting the ball better. He's getting on the board a little bit as Royce Lewis rakes at AAA. Royce Lewis hit a home run Wednesday night. Royce Lewis, I believe, had 2 more hits Thursday night. So, I mean, he's doing his thing at AAA. He's been awesome over there. How long do you stick with Jose Miranda? It's a viable question. And I think, it works as long as the Twins are winning. It works as long as Miranda's not coming up short in big spots. He did tonight. He struck out with the bases loaded. And it works as long as you have a viable partner with him, Gio Urshela, and Luis Arraez. It works as long as all of those things are true. If the Twins start losing, their offense is now not scoring, he comes up in a big spot and strikes out, then it becomes an issue. Then you're like, okay, this is a first place team that needs to be winning these ball games against the Royals and Tigers, and he's striking out with the bases loaded. We're not scoring enough. We need a boost. We need something. Maybe we need Royce Lewis. That's when that becomes true. When those criteria are not met. That's when Jose Miranda goes back down to St. Paul. So far, he's met all the criteria. The Twins are winning, even though he's struggling. He came up big in a big spot in Kansas City and hit a double. He's not really costing them offensively because they're still scoring enough to win, but that hasn't been the case the last 2 days. It's been a bad offense the last 2 days. And frankly, it's been a bad offense since the first inning on Monday, and it's going to be Friday this week. Their next game is Friday night. The offense has been poor since the second inning of Monday night's game. That's when that becomes true for Jose Miranda. And I'm high on him. I'm high on Jose Miranda. Miranda mania, baby. I talked about him all last summer. I'm super excited about what he could do for this team in the future. This is a first place club, and this is a team that needs some offense. And with Byron Buxton struggling the way he has, they need some offense in the bottom of the order, and they need Jose Miranda to step up right now in the short term. In the long term, I think it's going to be Lewis finding a spot. He played third base, I think, Wednesday night, maybe played third base Thursday night, but they're going to find a spot for Royce Lewis in the longer term. In the shorter term, it's got to be Jose Miranda. Let's preview game 2 of the series, the rest of the series looking forward. What's the goal? How can the Twins get back on track? That's 2 bad losses in a row. Let's get to that after this word from LinkedIn. With spring in the air, it's a time of renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Looking forward. Brad Keller, Bailey Ober, Friday night. This is a tough series for the Twins, pitching-wise. You have Daniel Lynch, who when he's on is a very good young starter. He was good on Thursday night. 95 with the fastball, tough, hard slider. Twins hit him around a little bit, but couldn't capitalize against him. He made the pitches when he needed to. Got out of some jams. Friday night's Brad Keller has been outstanding this year. Outstanding for Kansas City. Saturday night is Brady Singer. And Sunday is Zach Greinke. I think the Royals are going to get a chance to win in all 4 of these starts. So from the Twins, that takes a better offensive approach, but more importantly, that takes getting hits with runners in scoring position. Teams will go through this all year. Like, the Twins will go through this more than one time where they're just awful with runners in scoring position for a couple games in a row or a week in a row. What we talk about all the time, though, is minimizing those downs You've had a couple bad games now. I would say 3 or 4 where you're terrible with runners in scoring position. Let's cut it there. That's it. That's it. We're done with that. We're now going to start hitting with runners in scoring position again. At least get back up to average, not 1 for 11, not 1 for 15, 2 for 20. Let's get up to 5 for 16, something like that, 5 for 18 even. Get back up to a normal range with runners in scoring position. That's the number one key for this offense. They're getting on base. They need to get the score with runners in scoring position, and they need to hit home runs. They need to hit some homers with runners in scoring position, with runners on base. That's always the key. 3-run homers, man. I tell you, I'd love to see the record of offenses that hit 3-run homers in a game. It's just a beautiful sight. I bet it's a wonderful winning percentage in the history of baseball for teams that hit 3-run homers in a game. It's awesome. Hit with runners in scoring position. Good starts. Bailey Ober. I think Bailey Ober will give him a chance to win as well. Then you have Sonny Gray, Chris Archer Saturday, Sonny Gray Sunday. I think the Twins are going to have chances to win each one of these games. It's baseball. The Twins might jump on Brad Keller tomorrow. The Royals might jump on Bailey Ober, seeing him a second time in 1 week. It's possible. Anything's possible. Sonny Gray might struggle on Sunday. Zach Greinke may not make his start. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think the Twins will have a chance to win these games offensively, and they're going to have to get back on track in a hurry. It's not fun to watch. Just squandering up there, throwing away chances, blowing games. That's not the team we've grown accustomed to. It's 2 games. They're going to blow games this year. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. It happens to the New York Yankees, who are 30-14 or whatever they are. It happens to the Dodgers. Everybody blows games in a season. Everybody has lulls with runners in scoring position. Everybody struggles offensively at times. But the good teams, the playoff teams, don't let that last long. And I think the Twins will show us quite a bit this weekend. If they go out there this weekend and it's the same story with the offense, which is unable to capitalize again, and they don't respond in a positive, impactful way on Friday, I think we might learn a little on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, give them the weekend. I think we might learn a little bit about this team. I think people are holding their breath with the Twins fans, at least myself. Maybe you're not. Maybe Twins. I'm speaking too broadly of Twins fans. I think some Twins fans are holding their breath, waiting for some sort of collapse from this team, because we remember last year, we've been hurt in the past. How many times by teams that have collapsed, whether it's in the regular season or in the playoffs? Definitely in the playoffs. The Vikings, the Twins, they all collapsed. The Wild, the Timberwolves. We're used to it. We're conditioned to it. We know the White Sox are good. So there is this feeling of, is this going to get off the rails? They can put that to bed. Put that to bed this weekend. Not even a question. Don't make it a question. Don't make me sit here at Sunday night asking if the Twins are for real, because that would not be fun. And I hope I don't have to do that. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Like, subscribe, comment on the page. Thank you so, so much. Now make your second listen to the Locked On MLB podcast. MLB expert Paul Frank Sullivan brings humor, passion, and unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, and go Twins.